but to foster poetry in Oshkosh. So I want to thank Planet Park for the opportunity tonight to speak on the value of poetry and its importance in our lives. So I'm going to need you, the poets of Oshkosh, to do the same. And even if you are writing nonfiction, a short story, or a novel, I believe there's a poem rolling around in your psyche, lighting up those words to use like a pinball machine. So thank you for coming tonight and sharing. If you can, share this stream and join me on the Facebook group, Oshkosh Poet Laureate. As we begin tonight, you will see that people will be going past us because this is the best spot. Hello.
Hi.
Okay. So if you write poetry, then you are a poet. Make sure to call yourself a poet, because there's no minimum number of people that have to read your work for you to be called a writer. As a poet laureate, I hope to make an impact on more readers than I currently do, but I don't need to be concerned with that. I have met people in Oshkosh that will never publish their work, but they've had the impact on the right number of people. We have a member of our writers group that collected his crazy stories from his youth. His daughter's here tonight, but I will always remember his story about the time he put a V12 boat motor into like a 1929 Mercury car. That communication loop was successful. He wrote something, it was read, and it would be remembered. Last year we had another writer die of COVID-19, so Linda's writing will not reach the audience that she hoped for. But those people that read it or heard it will carry a piece of it. Now, not as many people as Stephen King, but certainly more than if she had not written her novel. So as we read our works, we impact now, which is all that we can do, and it's all that we need to do. In that vein, I want to read a poem called Us. It's all about past members of the Oshkosh Writers Club. Ken rolled cigarettes while others read, rambled through tattered notebooks, holding ideas like a secret code. Jim talked philosophy, usually at the bar. Sometimes he even listened to suggestions. Dorothy collected her poems in coil-bound books, wrote of simple leisures and simple treasures. With raspy voice and a smile, she spoke the way every grandmother should. Frank, small-town seasoned citizen, hair on his chin, played with words, his passion etched memories in stone. Margot lived in memoirs, made cornhusk dolls, and friends with her stories. Bob versed in marine maneuvers, camping in cathedrals, beer and teaching. The Kickanek River runs through his heart. Carl ambled into meetings in flannel shirts and suspenders, read off his clever poems like he had a foot up on your fender. Paul applied his one-bow glasses, loved time, nature, ecology of loving his wife. Chuck, gnarled hands, held diaries, history of farming, dairies, breezed through lilacs, hardships, the prosperity of family. And now, I don't usually write rhyming poems. I have very few, but those are the kind of poems my mom likes. So, I think I will. So I'm going to read one tonight. And it has some words in it that I'm sure to stumble over. I thought, why make it easy for myself tonight? Sustainable. My wife sat at the kitchen table, preaching how the economy is unstable because of our consumption of oil is dangerous and unsustainable. If I didn't want to hear her fable, with hidden motive unconcealable, this Catholic's weight guilt trip for a new car, I figured was excommunicable. I admit her conviction was unfeignable. The virtues of an electric car unassailable. How the depreciation was amortizable, and how electric vehicle on our taxes was quite exemptable. Thus began our argument over Something only couples deem debatable. Wife, your plan is not achievable. She suggested I was reprehensible. I replied that her comments about my mom were not applicable. Lame brain, the way your truck pollutes should be unmerciful. Sweetheart, the reuse of a used up truck is commendable. Being paid off makes it pretty affordable. But redneck, your carbon footprint is incalculable. Lover, the theory of global warming is not unassailable. All this weird weather is quite explainable. And your dedication to being an ass is unconfutable. Listen, dear, love of my life with beauty unequivocal. Gas prices depleted our savings. A new car is unachievable. And besides, I'm saving up for a big old convertible. All right. Our next reader is going to be Joyce. And the title of her piece is 1313 Somerset. Right?
Sorry for being slow. I have to bring my computer.
Oh, okay.
Printed last minute, so.
Oh, put your computer on. Well, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Okay. So there's on the website, on the Facebook page, the poet Laureate. There'll be some contact information. If you guys have an organization that you'd like me to come speak to, just contact me. We should have a website up. I have some business cards. Okay, you ready?
Sure.
All right. Good.
I pointed to the poster on the telephone pole as we drove by. World's scariest haunted house. We should try that. Lissy shrugged. With all the indifference a teen can bring to anything. Mom, we've looked at so many ourselves. Why would this one be any different? It's for the homeless, I said. And it's cheap. Well, almost. She sighed and looked at my eager face. Okay, maybe we get a few ideas, as long as it's not one of those church ones. We followed the signs, handwritten on cardboard, until we came to 1313 Somerset Street. It was once a Victorian square. It was once a Victorian square green mansion, now slightly ratty. Nothing hanging out the windows. One shutter hung at an angle, and I could see underneath it once been Pepto-Bismol pink. I realized I wasn't smelling a haunted house. The mix of heavy makeup and fake blood. No actors outside, no lines. Only a sign, enter at your own risk. Admission, $20. I parked at the curb. A woman stood in front of the house with a clipboard. There were a few plastic props scattered across the lawn. Looked like the markdown bin at Party City. Hi, I'm Sheila. Welcome to the world's scariest haunted house. It's $20 a person and your money back if not scared. Lissy yawned at her. There's no naked guys in there, is there? She shook her head. No actors. It's different. It's just then a plastic rat came flying through the air of a broken window, and we heard giggling. Okay, who put the rat in Charlie's room? She yelled. He hates rats. You know that. You won't behave or I'll throw you out. That goes double for you, Sheila. Lissy glared at her. You said there weren't any actors. The woman shrugged. There aren't any. I heard a fake sounding shriek over and over again, like someone pushing one of those buttons on the fake corpses. She yelled again, "And stop hitting that thing, it's plastic." The sound continued. She shrugged and held out a clipboard with a waiver on it. "Here's real ghosts." I signed the waiver in a daze, and so did Lissy. Handed over the 220s. She handed us 2 flashlights and opened the front door. "Downstairs is easy. If you see a rocking chair going, it's Sarge. Just don't get him talking about the Great War, and he'll never stop. Now the staircase is good. No holes. Just don't stomp on anything. Charlie and Sheila are upstairs. They're siblings, sometimes fighting. I don't know what else is up there. Sometimes they come and go. The ladder's down to the attic. I don't know if there's what's up there. I never asked. If that hasn't scared you, try the basement. It's wet, and I don't know if it's a poltergeist or what. Someone said it was a water demon. Get ready to drop." She paused. "If Charlie gets grabby on your butt, just yell to Sarge, okay? He's the enforcer." "What charity is this for?" Lissy's voice tried to sound bored, but I could hear the edge of fear. Dylan giggled. "This is the charity. We're a homeless center for ghosts. And don't worry, ghosts can't hurt you. We've never lost anybody. Yet."
Thank you, Joyce. Next up, Patrick, you ready? Okay. Welcome, Patrick.
The title of this piece is To Abide or Not to Abide. To abide or not to abide, the question begotten by my pride. Frustrations pile up, I've had enough, worn down is my spirit, no longer tough, an ugly, painful truth I have to concede. With too many goals, I do not succeed. I cannot get a customer to sign on the blasted, bolded, dotted line. I cannot find a lover to profess. With me she will always stay, nothing less. I cannot will my family to repair the transgressions beyond my affair. I cannot convince people to civilize their discourse as they choose to brutalize. I cannot craft my writing to speak to being human. Its message is too weak. Yet, as I drive upon the paved, quiet road, removed from society's constant noise, removed from matters breaking my poise, I witness how nature handles its load. No matter how frigid the winter's cold, no matter how deep the spring's rain, no matter how arid the summer's heat, no matter how complete the autumn's yield, reaching for the sky are trees, serene and old. Trotting for the trees are deer, silent and vain. Growing amidst the deer is grass, tall and neat. Once more, flora and fauna completely healed. Nature abides, and so will I.
Very nice.
All right, who wants to go next?
I will.
Okay. Next up is Ruth. Welcome, Ruth.
Thank you, Tom. And that was a really lovely tribute to members of the Writers Club. You almost made me cry. I didn't bring any of my own work today, but I was having a conversation with Tom maybe a year ago or so, when we were talking about our writing and what's going to happen to our writing when we die and stuff like that. And I was telling them the story about a professor that I had in college in the, well, it's a couple of decades ago. We don't need to be specific. And I cannot remember his name, but he shared a book of poetry that he wrote, and I illegally copied it, but I didn't do the cover page. So the book is titled Ridge Runner Rhymes, and the professor wrote under a pseudonym of Luke Campbell. And so I'm just going to share with you a couple of the poems that he wrote that I don't know that I actually agree with them, but they have just stuck with me. So the Luke Campbell is kind of a persona of somebody who lives down in the South and is just kind of a simpleton. Or he looks like a simpleton, but he's really not. Anyways, and his poems don't have titles. You can't make a point in space the way you make a point on paper, because the air won't take the ink. You gotta go at different things, different ways. You can't make a point in time either, unless you're willing to wrestle with God's angel. You have to fight to be a winner. What I marvel, though, is how Jacob wrestled only one night. I've been wrestling all my life and still got no heavenly names, just plain me, Luke Campbell. The next one, again, no title. Seldom I find do men mislike a man that's no damn good or lower than themselves. But let a feller come up there that's high and mighty or simple and good like a saint. Man and boy, they're all out to get him, and get him they will. His chances of being liked are about as short-lived as comets' tails. It's not that people hate virtue. Most men inside are good and want to be better. That's the whole reason another good man is such a pain. 'Cause he is what they ain't, and the envy nearly kills them. They like to see what he did. It gives them hope to do better. But the guy who did it, green through they hate him and promise their hearts they will get him. More than a few good men have been run off a cliff or hung on a cross or killed some legal way by the most upstanding righteous folks. You watch. Most of the time, it ain't bad people killing off bad people. It's good people doing one another in, because most of this world's grief and sin. And then the last one the character was very much in love with his wife, so there's a lot of love poems there. And I just wanted to share this one. Here it is peaceful, here in Newton County, heaven's back door. I don't care where all I've been as long as I am here at last. Sitting here with cornbread and gravy, fresh cakes in their jackets, ham from my own smokehouse, and my Ellie, my angel winging about. My own place, great God be thanked, this I know, the world outside is indeed out. Out, out forever. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next person will be Dixie. Welcome.
I have a short piece of prose, true story. It's called Orange is the Color of Forever. Something woke me, a mother's intuition of a wrongness in my world. In the gray semi-darkness of the lonely time before dawn, I staggered, half blind, into the hallway. In the smallness of the night, it came as if from a deep, dry well. At first, a thin wail, it rose in volume until it pressed against the walls, scrabbling to escape. The sound came from me, alone and chilled in my perfect son's doorway as my heart tried to break free from my chest. My child, fair-haired and pale in the moonlight, sat up like a zombie in a bad movie. White slits of eyes rolled back unseen, still asleep. Fluorescent vomit cascading from his soft petal lips, down the wall, under the molding, soaking the carpeting and the bedding. Hours of bleaching stretched before me. Bile forced its way up my throat when the mix of smells hit me. I reeled back, fighting for balance as my first foot found a razor-sharp Lego, and my other foot landed on a Hot Wheels. My spouse lay as if dead to the obscene smell noise cleanup. Neither he nor my son woke, leaving me in my rubber gloves to deal. The orange fluorescent permanent marker, once eaten, was now a thing of family legend, a part of our home, now and forever, impossible to eradicate. And then this one, this short little poem was inspired just now. Never before, never again, my heart spins and my stomach rolls. Tiny puppy, a piece of my heart sweet as a cinnamon roll. Eating poop with dedicated joy. No kisses tonight, dear boy.
Thanks for sharing.
Thanks.
Next up is Mboya. The title of her piece, I think she's going to read a couple, but at least one's Good Old Days.
Try with the mask off.
She's coming. Welcome and thank you for sharing.
Hi.
Hello.
This one is entitled Good Old Days. Boy, I remember those good old days when things were so simple. Even when we were poor, we weren't looking for more. Love from family kept us happy. We were not concerned about what we had, as long as we were fed. Oh boy, those were the good old days. A television in every room? Wow, you must be rich. Because I remember standing over the TV set with a hanger. We weren't worried about the danger, wiggling it back and forth, back and forth. Is that good? How about that? As soon as we sat, static. It's your turn. Boy, those were the good old days. How about when electricity went out? You couldn't iron your clothes. You flip up the mattress, stick the clothes in between, let it lay overnight. Bam, creativity. A homemade iron, right? Boy, those were the good old days. I remember my mother's best friend. What was the name? Right, I remember. Thrift store. With those clothes on, I almost went to war. So when I'm poor, you're gonna buy me more? Oh boy, those were the good old days. Remember when the heat was turned off? We didn't care. The stove is our friend. The stove is our friend. Oh boy, those were the good old days. Can I have some juice? Wasn't heard. Now sugar water, I understand. All the Kool-Aid gone? Man. Oh boy, those were the good old days. Remember when we didn't have much money, but when you went to the store, you would come back with a bag full of candy, or many, because it only cost a penny. Oh boy, those were the good old days. You remember your birthday? Hand-me-down toys? I want a new bike. What you think this bike looks like? My brother old bike painted white? Oh boy, those were the good old days. Thank you, Mr. Government, for my block of cheese. Oh, and can I have some powdered eggs too, please? And can I have some powdered milk? Because this peanut butter is sticking to the root of my tongue, root of my mouth. Oh boy, those were the good old days. And Mama's home cooking. Let me say that again. Mama's home cooking. Boy, I miss that. But those were the good old days. I have a few. Hope you don't mind.
No.
I'm enjoying this.
This is entitled Inspiration and Not Temptation. I want to be your inspiration and not your temptation. I want to inspire and not cause you to be a liar. I said, I want to inspire and not cause you to be a liar. I want to be your inspiration and not your temptation. I want to be the one that helps your creativity flow. I want to be the one that caused that poured in you to grow and not stoop so low. I want to be your inspiration and not your temptation. I want to be the one that helps you reach your peak and keep going, not the one that causes you to sneak around. What you doing? Come on now. I said, I I want to be your inspiration and not your temptation. I want to be the one you undress with your mind, not the one you only know from behind. I want to be the one you lean on for support, not the one when things get rough, you abort. I said, I want to be your inspiration and not your temptation. I said, I want to be your inspiration and not your temptation. I want to be the one, I want to be there when you turn to the Most High. I want to be there when you finally break down and cry. I want to be the woman that carries your name, not any of those other dames. I said, I want to be the one that wears your ring. No, I'm not interested in your dream. I said, I want to be your wife, not your mistress. I want to be your wife, not your mistress. I want to be your latest, your greatest inspiration. I want to be your inspiration and not your temptation.
You have one more?
Yes. So, this last one I'm doing is called Spring and Soul. And I wrote this thing about back in the day when Oprah said she was molested as a child by a family member. And I always say that no matter how much money you have, how high in life you get, sometimes things in your past will always have your soul still screaming. So this one entitled Spring and Soul. I've gone from rags to riches, accomplished every goal I set for myself. I have achieved much wealth. Look at me. I'm the person you want to be. But don't be fooled by my outer shell, because my soul inside is screaming in hell. And no matter how much I try to douse the fire, my soul is screaming higher and higher. I try so hard to hide the pain. In doing so, it has my mind going insane. I have to be stronger and try not to shout. I want to take myself out for what you put me through. But I have to think about my kinfolk and believe there's hope, because my soul has been crying ever since I've been 9. You said it was okay, and I believed every word you said, and didn't tell anyone about that day. So now that I'm grown, I know that it's wrong. So who can I tell? And will that get my soul out of hell? Every day I see your face. When I bow my head and say my grace, you are across from me, thanking God for the food you're about to receive. 10 years you sat there, and all I wanted to do was leave. I look around and I wonder, can anyone else see my pain, or even know who bad you lay in? I said, I want to take myself out for what you put me through. No, maybe I'll just kill you. But my heart won't let you get the best of me. So maybe I'll reholster my emotions and let God deal with you before I do something I will not regret. Thank you.
Is there anybody else tonight?
Did I go again? Or?
Yeah.
No. Yes, please come on.
Okay. I didn't.
Yeah.
You have 5 minutes.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
So your name is
Big Patrick.
Patrick. All right.
So this is entitled Reeling Eagle Gazes. 2,977 forcibly taken, begging questions. For America, why is there such hate? What will be foreign policy's fate? How is our security so lax? Was it a beginning or a climax? Bald eagle reeled, cast out its claws. Most thought it had justifiable cause. 45 days after terrorist attack, nation went forward, didn't look back. 20 years ago today, Patriot Act passed, surveillance powers, government amassed. Arguments in favor were popular and swift. You dare not oppose them and create a rift. Bad guys are everywhere. They could be over there. Never again on our soil. Civil rights we will not spoil. Mastermind found and killed. Oaths to the fallen fulfilled. From terrorism, citizens shielded. By authority, agencies wielded. Yet, a not-so-hidden beast on our freedom's feast. Just ask one fleeing NSA defector, his leaked information a specter. 2 decades removed, reminder might behoove. When you fight monsters, you gaze into the abyss, and it gazes into you. That was. And then they're all pretty short. I have another one. Pale Blue Dot, The Final Frontier. TV announces space, the final frontier. Journeys of the Enterprise, we hold dear. From Romulans to Klingons to Tribbles. 3rd season's quality, there are quibbles. Yet, through 79 episodes, 55 years ago, Star Trek, the original series, helped sci-fi grow. Its crew inspired us to look to the stars, to claim a greater future, which could be ours. To the War of the Federation, ahead Warp 9, if we only could put human failings and vice aside. Last week, a captain went up into space. At 90, it's still Shatner's beloved place. The oldest man to witness from up there, Mother Gaia entirely laid bare. Once safely home, he had words poetic to describe his experience, prophetic. After comforter of blue lies ugliness black, different enough to give a heart attack. Galaxies, supernovas, mysterious things, phenomena which give ideas wings. It's not about little green Martian men, but rather about acquiring some zen, realizing we have what we sought, as we look upon a pale blue dot.
All right, well, everybody, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching on Facebook. And thank you for Planet Perk. Please.
Reception November 4th.
Yes, please. The library is having a virtual Zoom reception at November 4th, 6 p.m.
Library's website.
Oh, go to the library's website.
To register.
What?
To register.
Oh, to register, join in. It's going to be a lot of fun. And thank you for good night.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.